Davey, welcome to Podcastina.
Thank you. Wow, that's a really quick intro. I wasn't expecting that. I thought there was going to be like a thing.
Oh.
And it's just like, hey, you're on.
It's
What's
hey,
up?
you're on. That's all it is.
Hell yeah.
Right to it.
I like it.
No lube.
I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
Good
This
to
is
have
fun.
you.
Monty's hanging out. He's a good boy. He's a teeny tiny little bear, and I'm ready to go.
The bestest boy. What are you looking forward to right now?
Oh, I've got a bunch of shows coming up. I'm assuming we plug at the end, though,
Yeah,
right?
we
People
absolutely
have to
plug at the end.
hang out until the end to know when I'm performing so you can come see me because you're definitely going to want to after this.
That's right.
But yeah, what am I looking forward to? Summer being over. It's hot. I'm looking forward to that being done. But at the same time, we've gotten so much rain. Let's talk about the weather. Really riveting stuff. No, but like last year, exactly 1 year ago, I was out in Kerrville volunteering for the flood relief efforts.
Oh, shit.
Because the hill country got all flooded. A bunch of people died. I somehow accidentally got attached to like this really highly skilled search and rescue team.
Oh my God.
Like going through like swift water.
How'd they
with
find
these
you?
Professionally trained dudes. I was just standing there and I'm big. And so this guy was like, hey, you're with us. And I was like, okay, cool. Not realizing that these are like professional firefighters that have specialty training. Like they're basically, like the Navy SEALs of firefighting. And so they just had me going through all these crazy flooding rapids and shit it was insane. But yeah, we were looking for bodies in Kerrville.
I'm afraid to ask if you found any.
No, thank God. I mean, we found stuff, but not, yeah. Anyways, it was like a whole thing, and that was very traumatizing. And then a year later, like a year and a week later, that's how crazy this is. They flood all over again down there. But it's not just Kerrville this time. Bernie got flooded. Like I saw videos of entire apartment complexes underwater. The entire city of Uvalde, which is like probably like 2 hours south of San Antonio.
I only know that name because of the shooting.
Oh, yeah.
That city name.
That's kind of a downer a little bit.
I know. And
Remember
then
that place where all those kids got killed? Yeah.
Well, the only reason I knew about Waco was because of David Koresh.
Yeah, but that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. He held out. He
put the city on the
banging
map.
everyone. Yeah, and then they had to send in the ATF to get him.
Yeah.
But now Chip and Joanna Gaines own Waco.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It stays in the hands of the
semi-culty type situation. Yeah. I love it there, dude. I feel home when I'm in Waco because I grew up in a cult. So, yeah, anyway, all of that to say, I'm looking forward to the summer being over and Texas not being underwater anymore. There was a tornado in San Antonio.
I saw the video of it and I was
Crazy.
like, I hope this doesn't come across my mom's phone because I'm going to get a million phone calls like, are you okay? Is that near you?
Typical Jewish mom.
Yeah. Every emergency that happens and like, this was nuts too. I don't know if you saw, they had a giant sinkhole in West Hollywood and this whole chunk of like the Sunset Strip got absolutely flooded. Some 100-plus-year-old pipe burst and everybody's like underwater garage was like fucking flooded.
Crazy that they had a giant open hole in West Hollywood.
Well, they're used to it.
How many gay dudes were just like, I could fuck it. I've seen worse.
Well, it's kind of a almost idyllic place for it to happen because they'll fix it right. Like West Hollywood has money. I lived in West Hollywood for 8 years and they stay on top of stuff. So like potholes. But then it's like, why wouldn't they get ahead of it and change all these pipes when it's an area that's so prone to earthquakes? And it's just going to keep happening that these pipes are going to keep bursting.
Yeah, Democrats,
Am I right?
Thanks a lot, liberals. No, the first time I like stayed for a while in LA, like I used to travel to LA a lot, but it was only for like, 2, maybe 3 days at the most. But the first time I went to LA and I stayed for like a couple weeks, I stayed in WeHo and didn't really know what I was getting into. And every time I went to like a restaurant or something, I was like, why are these people all super gay? And then discovered it is the quintessential gayborhood.
Oh, yeah.
But the best restaurants.
Yeah.
The coolest shops. I went to what's that? Buffalo Exchange. They have a Buffalo Exchange, like I think like on Melrose or something.
The Crossroads is better.
I don't know what that is.
Similar to Buffalo Exchange, but
I
it's
only
like
know that
the
for
West
Britney
Hollywood
Spears.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. But I went to Buffalo Exchange and got a pair of leather joggers for like $20. And I was
Were
like,
they assless?
There were some very suspect stains on them, but pretty good condition otherwise. And they are tight.
Oh,
they
yeah.
are skin tight. Oh, yeah.
Can't wear those here. You'll sweat. You'll sweat your junk right off.
A lot of people like that. You know what I mean? But I don't know what I mean, actually. But yeah, no, you really can't wear them. I wore them one time and I was like, oh, I can't ever wear those again. Those are crazy.
It
But
made
yeah.
me feel safe, though. I remember one time I was parked outside my apartment in West Hollywood, and I was sitting in my car. You know how you just take a minute to yourself sometimes before you go inside?
Yeah.
But it was nighttime, and this man was approaching my car, and I was like so ready to feel unsafe. But the amount of buttons that were buttoned down, I was like, no,
yeah.
I'm good.
Oh, he doesn't like me at all.
Uh-uh.
That's my new GBF.
Yeah.
No, I really liked West Hollywood. There's that little sandwich shop there. I can never remember the name of it. It has like a bunch of G's in it for some reason. Gothard or G something, whatever, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But best sandwich I've ever had. So many cool little places, and then it's like 10 minutes from the Comedy Store.
Yeah, Comedy
So it's
Store's
like
right there.
perfectly situated.
Totally.
I like WeHo. I mean, they'd probably get me. I would actually feel unsafe out by myself late at night.
You could replace, there used to be a character called Hollywood Jesus, and he would hang out at the Comedy Store a lot.
Huh.
I'll have to show you a picture of him later because I have a picture of him. He's died since.
Oh.
But he was like a fixture around town.
Well, guess what? He is risen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I am the resurrected Hollywood Jesus. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe that's my in at the I can't get in otherwise. So maybe they'll.
Like, I heard you guys had a Jesus impersonator.
Yeah, right.
Is there an opening?
I heard you needed a new Jesus. I'm here. I'm ready. You can crucify me, please.
You mentioned you grew up in a cult.
Yeah.
What is like the spark notes on that? Because I'm sure there's so much to it, but like what cult?
Yeah. So the name of the cult officially was the Institute in Basic Life Principles, but it's more popularly known as the Shiny Happy People cult. It's the same cult that the Duggar family was in, the 19 Kids and Counting people.
That's right.
Yeah. So my family joined that. I don't really know how old I was. My younger years are a complete like muddy blur, and not because I got molested. Just I did a lot of drugs later on. But I was homeschooled all the way through high school. I never went to a public or private school, and so I was already homeschooled. IBLP, the Shiny Happy People cult, was very much geared towards homeschoolers. In fact, you pretty much had to be a homeschooler if you wanted to be in the cult.
Interesting.
Because their big thing was they produced a lot of like curriculum and literature. It was a very interesting spin on a cult because it wasn't like Waco. It wasn't like the Branch Davidians where it's like, okay, we all go to the same church, we all live in the same community, we are one. The Shiny Happy People cult was all over the world. And they made millions and millions and millions of dollars. They had, I want to say like 30 or 40 different compounds all over the world. Most of them in, North America, but they had some in South America. They had them in Europe, parts of Asia, Russia, Australia.
Dang.
I mean, just all over the place. We even had, one of the big compounds was in Indianapolis, Indiana. I got sent there when I was 16 years old because my parents found out I had a girlfriend. So I got sent to this special boys program in Indianapolis, Indiana at the compound. And one of it was like a different building, like a couple miles away from the main compound. They had an orphanage for Russian orphans. And somehow they were bringing kids over from Russia that just lived in this weird warehouse thing. Very, very bizarre, dude. It was, I got a good education. My parents were really strong on that, making sure that I, wasn't an idiot after I graduated high school. So the education part was cool, but like the social part of it, I mean, now you've got a lot of like secular homeschoolers, I think, in today's culture. So they know like kind of how to socialize their children and, make sure they don't turn into weirdos. But back then, we didn't really have that. And my parents were extremely conservative. Like I was a really good swimmer when I was younger. So I was on like a competitive swim team and, went to state and all this stuff. And my parents pulled me off of the swim team because the Speedos, number one, were immodest for the boys, but also I was around a bunch of girls that were wearing swimsuits, and that was a temptation, and would probably cause me to go to hell if I looked at that too long or whatever. So, I mean, it was very, very conservative, very isolated. So I had no sense of like cultural norms. I didn't know anything about pop culture until I was maybe like 16 or 17.
Oh, wild.
Yeah. I like wasn't allowed to watch TV.
That's pretty common with cults, is they want to isolate you from realizing that you're even in one, so they can kind of brainwash you better if you're not
way
exposed.
Easier to brainwash someone who has no idea what the fuck is going on. So yeah, it was bizarre, and it was an interesting way to grow up. But I mean, I turned out semi all right. Even
I would have never guessed. And now that I've met a few people that have gotten out of cults, I'm always pleasantly surprised at how normal.
Well, I think it's also partly like maybe the industry that we're in, because I know some homeschoolers that didn't do comedy or entertainment or didn't have a lot of exposure. Even after they got out of the cult, they just didn't have a lot of exposure to the world. And they're still pretty weird.
What was the selling point of like being in that cult? Like, what is it your parents thought they were getting out of it?
Yeah, the whole thing, the leader of the cult was Bill Gothard. And Bill Gothard's whole thing was, this is how you protect your family from evil. Follow my program and your family will be protected from evil. Your kids won't have to, do drugs or get into porn or, whatever else, right? They're going to be protected as long as you follow this program. And so that was the whole thing. He did seminars all over the country. My parents went to one of his seminars. They were like kind of recommended by another homeschool family that was already in the cult, right? And they were like, hey, you should check out this seminar. It's really good. And so we went to that seminar, and my parents were just like, yeah, this rocks.
Did you ever go to the seminars?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They had, so it's called the Basic Seminar. And depending on how big it is, they also have like a children's program. So the first time we went to the Basic Seminar, I got sent to the children's program, which is basically just like indoctrination for kids while your parents are getting indoctrinated in the big room. And then the second time I went to like the main seminar. But we were already in the cult at that point. But they had all these programs. So in addition to like the curriculum and the literature that they published, they had a bunch of different programs. So you could send your kids to basically like cult summer camp. And so there was this one called Alert, which was essentially like a paramilitary for the cult. So once you were like, I think you had to be like 17 or 18 or something, you would go to this Alert program and you just did a bunch of push-ups, a bunch of sit-ups. They did like these long hikes and stuff too, surviving in the wilderness type situation, but it was all like to raise you up as a godly man, to help you develop into a godly man.
Did they starve you?
I didn't go to that one. I've heard a lot of stories. And yes, I think like food deprivation was something.
That's so common.
Sleep deprivation was.
God, they all use the same playbook.
They love to do that. So it was, what it was a lot like was those troubled teen camps that the Mormons did.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Or you like send your kid off to a camp or out in the wilderness or whatever. Yeah. So it's all the same tactics. It's nothing new.
Then Bill Gothard got in trouble for like sexual misconduct, right?
Yeah, so that was an interesting one. Bill Gothard was not like the typical cult leader. Like usually they're pretty charismatic, there's got to be something that's like, oh, this guy's cool, right?
Yeah.
No, he was like short. He had this crazy comb over, like that started at his ear and went all the way over his head. Insane. Very soft spoken, like just kind of a timid, demure looking guy. But yeah, so he had basically, for lack of a better term, a harem. It was a bunch of girls. They were called the Gothard girls. and they were his administrative assistants.
Sure.
Yeah, right, right, yeah. So purity culture was huge in the cult. Like, that was one of the main things. Like, I got sent to solitary confinement when I was in Indianapolis at the cult compound. I got sent to solitary confinement for a week because they suspected I had been talking to women.
Just talking.
That's what they suspected.
Wow.
I did way more than that. But they didn't know anything and they couldn't prove anything. There was just like rumors that, oh, he's out there fraternizing, you know. So that's how strict the purity culture was. Meanwhile, Bill Gothard's walking around with like an entourage 20 girls deep, and they're all very young. Very young.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, some of them were adult age. But when you've grown up homeschooled and in a cult, I don't even know when you really reach maturity, if you ever do, because you don't know anything. You've never been exposed to anything, but a lot of them were also underage. And so it came out, you know, after the fact. Obviously, he was being inappropriate with these women and girls.
Why else have them around?
Yeah. What, just so you can show off that all these girls idolize you and think you're God's prophet, basically? No, it's so you can touch them. And that was his excuse. So a good friend of mine is Lindsay Williams. She's done a bunch of podcasts with me. She was actually on the documentary that came out about the cult.
I saw that documentary.
It was crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it kind of reinforced how lame it was, didn't it?
Yeah, well, but
there wasn't
it's
anything
so easy.
Cool about it.
It's so easy looking from the outside in and being like, why would anyone subject themselves to this
Yeah.
and choose it? But I guess if you know nothing else and it keeps getting shoved down your throat, particularly from a young age, you just think that that's it because you're being taught to respect authority, and
Right.
those are the authority figures.
Yes, you just believe and have faith that you are doing the right thing. But Lindsay Williams, she was a Gothard girl for, I don't know how long, a couple years, probably longer than that, actually. But her experience was Bill Gothard would bring her into his office to pray with him, right? And they would pray together, but while they were praying, he would get like super close, like push his body up against hers, like kind of rub on her hands, hook his foot over her foot, and then he was notorious for playing footsie.
Ew, wow.
Yeah, like all the time. Like was obsessed
So
with
weird.
feet. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't cool. At least David Koresh was, you know, fucking. Bill Gothard was playing footsie.
Yeah, what's his name? Dave Ranieri or whatever was like branding girls.
I mean, that's crazy.
Do you know about that?
No.
The Nexium?
That's insane.
Those documentaries are gnarly.
Branding women?
Yeah, you got to look. I think it's on HBO. It's the Nexium cult.
That's kind of
He was
sick.
branding girls.
Yeah. You got a permanent brand?
Yeah.
And you did that willingly?
But when you look at that and then you tell me this guy played footsie, it's like...
Yeah. What a loser. Yeah. Pathetic. But yeah, he was really, really into feet. Very strange. Very, very strange. He's allegedly still alive.
I thought he died.
No, well, he may be. I don't know. They haven't released anything in a couple weeks.
Him and Mitch McConnell are in a room somewhere.
Why can't this guy Lindsey Graham? But yeah, I guess he had a stroke a couple weeks back and lost function of his kidneys, but then regained function, and then he was in a coma for a while, but then he was responsive in the hospital. I mean, but the guy's like 91 years old or something. I was going to say,
that's crazy. At that age to bounce back from something like that.
Mm-hmm. Is it cool if your computer?
Yes, that happens all the time.
All right. But Monty, anything you'd like to add?
Monty's like, I play footsie, but it's not weird when I do it.
Monty is kind of obsessed. Yep, he heard me call him. He is a little obsessed with like just appendages, I think. Maybe because he doesn't really have any.
Yeah, I guess so.
But anyway, it was definitely it was a strange childhood for sure. I didn't have like a lot of, I guess, trauma at home other than just not knowing anything about the real world.
But it sounds like that where you got sent seems traumatic.
That
they
was
put
more
you in
traumatic
isolation.
than anything. Yeah. That was probably the most traumatic aspect of everything. It really, I mean, I was cool with all of it until I was about 14. I was cool with being in a cult, cool with being homeschooled, didn't really have any issues with it. Then I hit 14, puberty kicks in, you start paying attention to girls, and it's like, wait a second, I don't think I want to do this anymore, actually. Wait, I can't kiss a girl till I'm married? That sounds stupid. I don't want to do that. But that's the whole reason I got sent away to the cult compound in the first place, was because my parents found out I had a girlfriend. So that just wasn't allowed. And so that's really when I was just kind of like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is lame. And then, we went to a regular church too. And so I have friends at church. So now I'm getting a little bit more exposure and realizing y'all get to go to parties and stuff. You get to hang out without your parents there. That sounds cool. I want to do that, but I wasn't allowed to. And so at that point, it was just kind of like, this isn't vibing anymore. And so once I got back from the compound, I was there for 2 months. After that, it was just me kind of like biding my time until I was 18 and could essentially tell my parents, look, I'm done and you can't stop me.
Yeah. What's the strangest rule you had to follow?
I always had to tuck my shirt in.
Oh.
I was never allowed to have my shirt untucked. Even like wearing shorts, I had to tuck my shirt into my shorts like a loser. I know that doesn't sound like crazy strict or anything, but it's just like, it's a microcosm of how like repressive it really was. Obviously I wasn't allowed to date.
Yeah.
Wasn't allowed to go on the internet. Couldn't listen to any kind of secular music. I wasn't even allowed to listen to like Christian rock.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was still evil. It was pretty much just like classical music and hymns. Like church hymns were cool. There were just so many rules. It wasn't like one rule was just over the top. It was the amount of rules that had to be followed.
How did it shape your view on authority?
Oh, I have a big problem with authority. Yeah, I have a very serious
Sounds
problem
like you
with
were
authority.
super rebellious when you got out.
Oh, so like I just wanted to experience everything as much as possible. I wanted to see it all. I wanted to do it all. I wanted to experience it all once I got out. And I think that's why I got so heavily into drugs. I know that's why I got so heavily into drugs. I wasn't initially doing drugs or drinking to escape reality,
right,
per se. I was doing it to experience reality.
Because it was the most like, no, don't do this rebellious thing that you could have done.
I was immediately going to like rock concerts and stuff. I'm still obsessed with like watching TV. I love watching TV. I don't really like going to the movie theater.
Yeah.
But I'm always watching TV because I wasn't allowed to growing up.
Restriction always has that impact on kids. You hear about like the trope of girls that go to Catholic school end up being the sluttiest because they're not allowed, versus I had like a very lax, I guess, upbringing. It's not that I had no rules, but I think my parents, they got divorced and then I was just with my mom and she was navigating single mom life. And so I didn't have like a curfew. I didn't really have things that I wasn't allowed to go do. And so I think that contributed to me being such like a everything in moderation person, because from a young age, I just got to try everything. And I was like, it's for me or it's not. Yeah,
you got to kind of shape how you want it to be on your own.
Right.
And you're a nerd. That's like your thing, is being a nerd. But with really good music taste, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, we like a lot of the same bands. But yeah, I didn't have that ability until I was literally like 18 years old. I mean, I kind of experimented around like starting at 16, I would say.
But you had to hide it?
It had to be so hidden. And honestly, I kept hiding it even after I was 18. Because my thing, like, I never stopped loving my parents. I've always been really close with my family. I know there's people who grew up in the same exact cult that had no relationship with their parents after the fact. But I really think my parents were just doing their best. They really thought they were doing the right thing for their children. And you don't get like a manual for how to correctly raise a good person. You just have to kind of figure it out. So I never really like blamed them. And my mom has she's apologized to me so many times, like in tears, apologizing for like what we went through growing up, and especially me being the oldest, and I was kind of the experiment, right? But yeah, even after I left the cult, I still lived at home. I basically just told my parents, like, I'm going to do what I want to do now. But I still hid it from them because I still didn't want, I don't know, I didn't want to like rub it in their face what I was doing. Like I'll never forget. I came home one night coked out of my mind, like so high I couldn't talk. And my mom thought I was just drunk. And I was like, yeah, I'm drunk.
That's so innocent of her.
That's what this is. I'm very, very drunk right now. You're right. You're 100% right. And so she just thought, oh, he's got a drinking problem. When in reality, I was off the rails, like crazy. So yeah, I actually hid all of that from my parents, and still sheltered them from a lot of it. Like my mom's not allowed to watch my stand-up comedy, and she knows that.
Yeah.
Like family members, friends will tell her like, have you seen like Davey's stand-up? It's really funny. And she's like, I'm not allowed to watch it. And she knows. And she knows.
That's so cool that she respects your wishes.
She respects it. But I mean, if we're being real, she's a mom. She's probably gone and checked it out before and been very disappointed. But that is, you kind of caught me off guard asking me what I'm looking forward to. I am coming up relatively soon, going to film like a 15, 20-minute special that's going to be clean.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And I'm primarily doing that for my mom, so she has something that she can watch.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, like I said, we're still very close, even though they really fucked me up,
Are they
unintentionally?
Yeah. Are they still leading that life? Are they still kind of in that?
Well, they got out of the cult like about a year after I did.
Okay.
And that's actually kind of funny. So the way my parents finally decided, like, oh, we're not doing this anymore. There was a scandal within the cult. Bill Gothard was always the leader until he got kicked out of his own cult for playing footsie. But he had like executive leadership within the cult, right? And his president of operations, so basically the second in charge guy for the cult, got caught having an affair with his secretary. Leaves his wife, starts a new family with his secretary. And the cult's response to this was not to say this was a sin. This is not how, we don't endorse this. This is not okay. They published like a paper or something along those lines that was basically telling women that if their husband cheats, it's because they didn't do something right. So basically blaming women for men cheating. And my mom saw that and was just like, what? Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't think so. And she like, that was it. That was pretty much the breaking point for them. There was other stuff leading up to it, but that was pretty much the breaking point as far as them leaving the cult. But they are still very religious. Very, very religious. Like church is everything for them.
But it sounds like they maybe don't adhere to like the man being the sole authority. It sounds like your mom has a say in things.
Oh, yeah. My mom always did. Me and my mom are like the same person. And so we both have a problem with authority. And so while it was definitely like a patriarchal vibe in the cult, and even at home, like our dad was like, that's the leader of the household. My mom was calling the shots.
Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And if mom wasn't happy, nobody was happy. You know what I mean? But she's like also a like sweet lady. She's a very sweet, unintimidating lady. So she would never like put my dad in a difficult position where, he's got to fight with her about who's going to make the decision. She would always side with my dad. Always, always, always.
So you didn't have to, it sounds like you didn't grow up with this structure of, oh, women have to be submissive all the time, or that wasn't part of the messaging?
No, not at all. I mean, it was from the cult, yes. Yeah. But in our house, no, absolutely not. And that's one thing, having such a close relationship with my mom. I've like misogyny is kind of like a foreign concept to me. I think there's absolutely like gender roles, like there are some things that women are better suited for than men, and some things that men are better suited for than women. But to me, it's just, practicality. It's not like oh no, the women have to be subservient. They shouldn't ever be in a position of leadership or anything like that. I think a lot of times they shouldn't, because, they're irrational and don't make good decisions. And, there's a certain time of the month where there's no women that can make an appropriate decision. You know what I mean? But like in the larger scheme of things, no, I don't think there's like this a disparity between men and women as far as their cognitive abilities or maybe their physical abilities. That's about it.
Well, men are actually statistically far more likely to get in fatal car accidents because they have more of a tendency to drive emotionally. They get more mad, they get more erratic. And then male doctors, particularly surgeons, also tend to make more fatal mistakes than female surgeons. So the whole guise of women are more emotional is not true, even though we do deal with more hormonal irregularities than men.
I'm gonna argue that point a little bit, because who gets in more car accidents overall? Maybe more fatal car accidents are for men, but
that's worse.
I mean, if you're gonna get in a car accident, make it fatal.
Nuh-uh.
Like, don't make it some stupid little fender bender and just hold up traffic. Somebody better be dead. If I'm sitting in hour-long traffic on I-35, someone better be dead.
I do feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, women are more emotional. What are you talking about? I'm getting angry right now.
Case in point.
Right? No, I like yes, men are still emotional creatures to a degree.
Yeah.
But we have a tendency to think a little more logically, a little more structured and rational. No, you don't think so?
The research says otherwise.
Just because you love spreadsheets doesn't mean you're the typical woman.
But I also think that like gender roles and misogyny are not necessarily the same thing. I think that they're unrelated, where there's certain things that I do believe are gender roles because we biologically are better at things. Like, I don't know if you know this, but women on the whole have a better sense of smell than men because biologically we are designed to be able to smell if like the food that we're about to give our baby is foul. And so there are just things that we're gifted by nature where like there's certain skill sets where like I'm better at this than you, and that's okay, and you're better at this and that's okay. It doesn't mean that someone is above in a hierarchy. It just means like I'm better at this.
Men are better at making more money than women. You know,
well,
like
society is set up that way.
Well, you know, whether you think it's a societal structure or not, we're just better at it. You know, but no, I totally agree because gender role is not a who's better than. Right. Like you look at ancient civilizations, the men went out, they hunted, they were the warriors, and a lot of times when they came back to the tribe, not in every ancient civilization, but in a lot of them, women were kind of running things at home.
It was a matriarchy up until basically Christianity.
I wouldn't say it was a matriarchy. I think it was just
some societies were matriarchies.
Did their job.
Yeah.
And you did the job that you were good at. It was more like a meritocracy in ancient civilization. Oh, you're better at this? Well, then, yeah, obviously you're going to do it. It wasn't a thing, well, you know, the hunting party, we've got 10 dudes, and really we need to have a woman because we don't want them to feel left out. No, it was these 10 guys are the best hunters. They're going to go do that. And ladies, you stay home and wash clothes in the creek or whatever the hell. I don't know. But, yeah, I think that's probably... I don't know. Our culture is so fucked up right now because you have this narrative that's been pushed that any masculinity is toxic. And so you have the pussification of the male species over the past, I don't know how many years. I mean, decades at this point, to where there are no real men anymore. I shouldn't say there are no real men.
There's a lack of good male role models.
Yeah.
And that's why you have all the weird like Andrew Tate and all that bullshit because like these desperate lonely men are trying to look for someone and it's like you guys are looking to the wrong idols.
And then you've got these desperate lonely women that you know, they can't find a real man that they feel safe with, that you know, they feel like, "Oh, this guy can be my better half," essentially. I guess the woman's supposed to be the better half. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Because all the dudes out there are just simps.
Yeah, and they're undateable.
Yeah, undateable and unfuckable. It's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
But that's where we've gotten to because of that attitude that says actually men are more emotional than women. It's women like you that are messing it up, dude. No, I think that there's a much more like sinister movement behind that to essentially weaken all of us, to divide all of us so that we're easier to control.
Oh, totally.
And that's what's happening.
That's why we're so distracted.
Yeah. Yeah, we're distracted
People are
with
softer
the
in
dumbest
general.
bullshit.
Yeah, men and women, like people are. Can you imagine? And I mean, hopefully it never gets to this point. But if we were at war to the point that a draft would be necessary, who do you know that would be okay being drafted?
My bros, we're good. We're ready. Okay. But yeah, like I was walking around 6th Street the other night, and I'm just like looking at the dudes out there. What are y'all doing?
Yeah.
You all look so feminine and so stupid. And I mean, yeah, I guess if some of these girls have had enough drinks, they'll let you get with them. But in the real world, you don't have a shot. It really is embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
It's embarrassing to look at what modern masculinity has become. And yeah, you don't need the Andrew Tate types telling you what to do.
They're only hurting the situation.
Yeah, they're making it so much worse. In reality, you know, as a dude, go to the gym, have a personality, be funny, you know, educate yourself, just be a guy. Be a cool guy.
One of the manliest things and most attractive things to see is consistency. And there's a huge lack of consistency in like the young guys today. And part of that is like going to the gym all the time shows consistency. Like having a sense of discipline about your own life and being disciplined and consistent in your career, and then turning around and showing a partner that type of consistency. That's the thing that seems to fall off. Like in all the relationships that I've had that haven't worked, that's the thing that always falls off first, is the consistency.
That's an interesting one. Are you like a pretty consistent person?
Incredibly.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, discipline is what you're talking about pretty much. Yeah, men need to have discipline. But here's the other thing I'll say, is that modern women, modern femininity brings nothing to the table unless you've got a lot of money or a boat, or you know, can make them a star, essentially. I mean, women have, and I'm going to say, you know, young men today are suffering. I think young women today are suffering just as much because they don't know what they're supposed to do other than, you know, throw ass on social media and just try to find a rich guy. That doesn't work long term. And there's a very finite amount of rich dudes out there for you. And so the level of expectation on both sides is just so fucked up.
Yeah. What do you consider modern femininity?
I don't really know if modern masculinity or modern femininity even exists. It's like this modern androgyny. You know what I mean? Like,
well, everybody has to work now because economically it's like you can't realistically have a one-income household on like the average job. Whereas before, when the boomers were coming up, you could have a husband be a plumber, and if he was in a union, then he could afford a wife and 2 kids and a house and 2 cars on just his plumbing salary.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
No, it absolutely doesn't, because the cost of living has gone so high and we get taxed so much, which is really coming back to the crux of the matter. It's a propaganda tool that has confused the masses about who we really are as people, and it's the government that's doing it. It's our own government that's doing it. Now, you could say that there's an elite ruling class that's even controlling the U.S. government, and I, you know, would tend to agree with that.
I subscribe to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think it's about, I think they use the party system to continue to trick and divide us.
Absolutely.
Because when you meet a billionaire who claims to be Republican, I promise you he's hanging out and golfing with a billionaire Democrat, and the two of them have way more in common than they do with like a poor Republican or a poor Dem.
The best example of, you know, essentially breaking the fourth wall that I've seen recently was when Trump and Zohran Mamdani met up at the White House. And you saw, oh, these guys are homies.
Yeah.
They don't hate each other.
Not at all.
No, hating each other, liberals and conservatives hating each other is reserved for regular Americans. That's what they want to happen. They want regular liberals and conservatives to hate one another while they're homies up on Capitol Hill. And yes, they are, even they are subservient to, I think, a higher order. But, the bottom line is it's the government doing it to us. It's the government that made the decision to tax us to the degree that we are, so that you can't afford to live on a single income. So you can't have women stay home with your kids. So you can't have
even when
kids.
They want to, which a lot of them want to, and they can't.
Absolutely. And I, a lot of people, I think there's like this toxic idea that a woman or a mother staying home with her children is like a bad thing. It's not a bad thing if that's what she wants to do.
Yeah, it's all about what you want. If it's not what you want, yeah, I can get why that would be
absolutely
feel like jail. But
right, if you feel compelled, then yeah, it's not the right thing for you. But like my sister-in-law, that was always her dream. My brother's wife's dream was to have kids and stay home with her kids, and she loves it. Now it's not for everyone, and that's okay. But to essentially create a culture where that's impossible, well, yeah, it's going to discourage people from having kids. And so that's why the next generations just get smaller and smaller and smaller.
And then they turn around and complain about it, and it's like, you guys did this to us.
You fucked us.
Yeah. There's this incredible book. I reference it a lot on this show. I got to get the author on the podcast. It's called Generation of Sociopaths. Nice. And it's about how the boomers have ruined everything, because when it was their time to shine, they had all these things. They had absolutely like abysmal costs for education. They had access to really good health care. And then they decided at every turn to legislate these things away from the younger generations. And then they got into power, and they stayed into power because boomers are still at the top. Like, even though they should have aged out, they're still there preserving this mess that they've made, where they've created an education system that will just bankrupt you. Healthcare that will bankrupt you.
The shittiest generation.
They literally ruined everything. This book is phenomenal. Like, I love it so much.
It just because they are the product of the greatest generation, the World War II guys, right? That I mean, everything had was all
so easy for them, and they had the best stock market ever. And you could have just made millions of dollars on a job that paid you like $15 an hour.
Oh, we could be so far ahead, but that's where the ruling class comes into play. The ruling class that we don't know about. And no, it's not who everyone thinks it is right now. I mean, they probably have a little bit to do with it. But my point is that it's not one nation. It's not one group. It's a global cabal that is running shit and intentionally ruining shit.
And keeping the status quo.
So they can profit from it. Because if you break a populace like the American populace has been broken, it's so easy to control. It's a cult. We're living in a global cult right now.
How?
And I grew up in a cult, so I know the signs.
I was going to say, like, when you look out into things, what's the framework of cultiness that you recognize in different institutions?
The brainwashing. Number one, the brainwashing. This is how it is. This is how it should be. This is the narrative. This is the messaging. I mean, you look at our modern media, and they're all parroting the same lines. Like, have you seen those?
The lineups where they say the same things all the time.
It's insane.
Yeah. It's
insane. And, Americans pride themselves on being, independent. This bootstrap mentality, right? We have none of that. It's all an illusion now. We are so controlled, and we don't even realize it. And the two-party system has absolutely fucked us, because then now you've got like, well, I'm a Republican, and you don't even know what you believe, dude. You have no idea, because politics isn't about issues anymore. It's just
about
cult
belonging.
of personality.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It is a cult of personality. So I think people that like follow me on social media or whatever, half the time I get accused of being a Republican, the other half I get accused of being a Democrat. People don't really get that I just hate politics and all politicians, because
it feels weird to live
us.
in that space, because I feel like I live in that space too, and I will just explain myself as a moderate to people because they can't conceive that I could feel like I don't fit in anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like an easy catch-all to be like, well, I'm over here in the middle. And it truly, I'm like, well, everybody's lying. So where am I really?
Yeah,
Because
right. Yeah, yeah.
none of it, I'm not buying into any of it actually,
You
but I have to
join
tell
us
you something
on the
because you can't
anarchist side.
conceive.
Black pilled.
Yeah, right.
Your government hates you.
Yeah.
You don't hate the government enough. You don't hate the media enough. Those two things. I mean, it's to me, you know, obviously I worked in business. I worked in politics for a little bit. So I've seen behind the curtain how all this stuff really works. And it truly is just special interest groups and lobbyists calling all the shots.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, here's a perfect example. So I'm working on a documentary right now about the kratom industry. And, you know, they tried to ban kratom back in 2016. Right now, the DEA is actually about to ban one of the, you know, synthetic products of kratom called 7-OH, which, you know, arguably is probably pretty dangerous and it's ruining lives. So I understand why people are happy about them banning 7-OH. But in reality, when you ban something like that, you're just creating a black market. That's all you're doing. Or you're making an existing black market even more powerful. So what's going to happen is when these people get off of 7-OH, it's an opioid. So they're going to end up on either street drugs or they're going to end up on pharmaceutical products for the rest of their lives, right? Now, the interesting thing is there is a product called Feel Free, which is a kava kratom energy supplement shot that you can take, and they sell them in every single gas station.
I've heard people go bankrupt from
It's
getting
insane.
hooked on those.
You can get so addicted to these things. These things are, I mean, if we're going to talk about a dangerous drug, this would classify as that. Same with alcohol, same with anything else that's legal that you can buy in a gas station, because you can buy these, cigarettes, alcohol. So, but the fact that they're banning 7-OH and not these synthetic extract products like Feel Free shots, I was like, I wonder why that is. So I go and I look at the founder of this company, the Feel Free company. Guess who he's got a picture standing next to and has donated millions of dollars to his super PAC? RFK Jr. So that's how his product is still on the market, even though he's been investigated multiple times. The dude's an ex-con. He went to federal prison for, you know, finance fraud, but he's running this multi-million-dollar company now and is essentially insulated from any kind of consequence. And his product is not getting banned like 7-OH is getting banned because he's buddies with RFK Jr. and has
in his RFK's in his pocket, I'm sure. Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's in his pocket, but if you're getting $500,000 checks from him, yeah, I'll let him keep doing his thing. But that's what I'm saying. The government is run by special interest groups and lobbyists. They don't care about us. So why should we care about them? Mm-hmm. Why should I go to war, literally and figuratively? You think I'm going to go protest for a politician? You think I'm going to go picket for one of these guys in D.C.? Absolutely not, because in reality, they're all in on it together, and they hate the normal people.
They do, yeah. Did you have to deprogram it all? Because it sounds like you saw the light pretty quickly.
You know what? That's such an interesting question. Yes, but I kind of, I guess I accelerated that process with drugs quite a bit. So I don't really remember anything from, I don't know, my childhood all the way through my late 20s. I don't really remember a lot. And it's because I used alcohol and drugs so heavily. So I guess like I just kind of automatically deprogrammed my brain and then had to reprogram it when I got sober, because I was so messed up. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've watched my friends have to go through that, like go to therapy, and they still have like, you know, this holdover mentality and guilt complexes and constantly having to reassure themselves that, hey, it's okay for you to feel certain things or express yourself in certain ways, even though like the entirety of your formative years was spent telling you, no, that's not allowed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't really have to go through intensive work on myself like that because I just did a lot of heroin.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
you were too distracted
right, wrong,
to be
or
programmed.
indifferent. Yeah, dude, I was having a blast until I wasn't.
In that same vein, was there ever a moment where you were questioning your decision to leave?
To leave the cult?
Mm-hmm.
No, never, ever. Never would want to go back to that. As low as I got, I mean, most of my trauma comes from 10 years of drug abuse. That's where, like everyone says, like a comedian's power is their dysfunction, right? That's where my dysfunction comes from, is drug abuse, and being a criminal, and so, as bad as all that was, I wouldn't have given that up to stay in the cult, or I wouldn't have avoided that trauma by staying in the cult, I guess. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's such a left turn away from it, but then you wouldn't have stayed either way. You just went that way, but you would have like kept going this way.
Yeah, it was a hard 180.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything that I was taught growing up, it was like, how bad can I shit on all those rules? That's kind of what it was.
Mm.
It was a form of rebellion and a form of self-expression, but also just curiosity.
Yeah. What would you tell your 16-year-old self if you could talk to him now?
My 16-year-old self, you're not in love with her, bro. It's not worth it. You're not in love with her, bro. But also, like, maybe experiment, but don't go so far down the rabbit hole. I know I wouldn't be where I am today without those experiences. I was very successful in business until I decided I wanted to do comedy for whatever reason. I was flying on private jets before this. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, all of those experiences made me work harder and want to do more. But at the same time, like, I wasn't ever going to be comfortable with just being rich and successful if I wasn't doing exactly what fulfilled me and made me happy on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
If I'm not happy and having fun, I'm not going to do it. Anything in my life. Like, if comedy stopped being fun tomorrow for whatever reason, I'd be like, oh, well, I'm not doing that anymore. Mm-hmm. Absolutely not.
I'm in the same boat.
I'm going to be happy one way or the other. And I know that happiness is, an internal thing. Like, that's why rich people can be so unhappy, because the things that you think are going to bring joy and satisfaction to your life don't necessarily. But I like having fun. That's what brings
Nobody
me
has
joy.
more fun than comedians.
Oh, we have a blast, dude.
Yeah.
We have
people pay money to have the fun that we have.
Yeah, right. Legitimately, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things I think that shocks me. And you just got pulled for Kill Tony last week.
The episode will come out the day this episode drops.
Unbelievable, dude. Yeah, so sick. But standing in that room, as miserable as it is, you can still find some of your people in there. Like, oh, that's someone who's really doing comedy, who's really serious about it, and who really enjoys this and isn't doing the whole thing as a bit. You know what I mean? So you're in that room waiting to be called to, go on arguably the largest stage in the world right now, for Kill Tony, right? And you see like normal people walk in and like look around, and they're in awe, and they'll like see someone that they've seen on Kill Tony, like, oh, whoa, like, I want to talk to you. Can we get a selfie together? So cool. I love this joke, and that's really, really cool. It's a cool thing to experience, but it just shows like how like I don't use the word privileged in the modern sense, but we are really privileged to be able to do what we do, because there's so many people on the outside looking in at that, just
wishing they could switch spots with us.
Yeah, like I know some of the most successful bands in the world, and most of those musicians love comedy and wish they could do comedy. And that's the dichotomy of it, right? Every comedian wishes they could be a musician. Every musician wishes they could be a comedian. I've done both. So your boy's got it. But yeah, that's really interesting to see too, because like the guys from Under Oath.
I literally just met Aaron Gillespie a couple nights ago on
No
Secret Show, and
way.
I fangirled out on him so hard.
Oh, dude, he's the best.
I know, he was the best.
He's
and
the
he was telling
sweetest
me that
guy.
exact thing. He's like, I'm friends with a bunch of comedians. I love coming down here and watching them do their thing. And there I am going, oh my God, I've been obsessed with you since I was 16.
I love that band.
Me
I've
too.
always been obsessed with that
Me
band.
too.
Um,
Yeah, that was
and
that made my week. I was like so happy, and it was because I got on Kill Tony that I got on Secret Show that I got
Yeah.
to meet Aaron. It was like a whole domino effect.
Aaron's the sweetest guy, but
Yeah.
like he was excited about doing my podcast, and I was like, "You're excited to do my podcast, dude? You're Aaron Gillespie, the drummer of Under Oath."
I freaked out on him more than I freaked out on like Justin Bieber, like Denzel Washington. I've met like A-list celebrities because I used to work at Ferrari, and I didn't respond to any of them the way I responded to Aaron coming into that room.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
Tim McTeague too.
Yeah.
Tim's a homie. Aaron Gillespie made me fajitas. Yeah.
Stop bragging.
Such a cool guy, and really, really respects me. No, Aaron, if you're watching this, I know you don't respect me.
If you're
It's
watching
fine.
this, holy shit, thank you. Please
He
come
was
do
on-
the podcast.
He was on Soft White Underbelly too.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know
that.
if you ever saw that,
No.
but yeah, super, super cool. So yeah, Aaron and Tim are both sick. They're
Hell yeah.
both awesome, awesome guys, but they love comedy, and they like kind of revere comedy.
Mhm.
Like as big as they are, as successful as they've been, they'll still get like a little starstruck when they see like famous comedians that they've
So
watched
funny.
on TV. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Like people are so obsessed with them. I mean,
Well,
like
we're lucky to be doing what we're doing.
we are.
Yeah. Well, we got to wrap this shit up.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wrap up. What do you think?
I would love for you to go ahead and plug whatever it is. What all are you doing? Tell the people where they can find you.
I had to make some notes on this the other day because I was on a podcast and someone asked me like, "What shows do you have coming up?" And I was like, "I don't know.
Very professional
There's-
of you. I love it.
There's some stuff coming up, I guess. Let me see if I can actually find it now.
Yeah.
That'll be the real trick." Okay. So, this weekend. Oh wait,
This will be out next week.
this will be out next week. Okay. Well, I just got back from doing shows with Brian Callen at the Laugh Out Loud Comedy Club in San Antonio. Amazing guy. Love him. Let's see. August 6th, I'll be in New York City. They said I couldn't ever come back. They said I would never, ever perform in New York City again. Guess what? August 6th. August 6th, bitches. August 22nd, I'll be in Buda at this place called Mama Merlot's. Very, very cool. And then for the rest of the year, I'll be touring with Jogging Summers. So September through the end of the year, I'll be on tour with her. So all the links will be on my website.
Amazing. Well, Davey, thank you for doing the show.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
This was
I
fun.
feel like I just trauma dumped on you.
No, it was fantastic.
I feel like people are going to hate me and be like, that guy is insane.
They're going to love you, and they're going to tell you how much they love you.
All right. That's cool.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Bye.
If you know somebody that would enjoy this episode, feel free to share it with them. And thank you for listening to Galina Ravina Podcastina, the show where I try to be the person my dog thinks I am. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. See you on the next one.